The story we're about to tell you is truly miraculous, and by all accounts this hiker should have never been able to recover. But before we get into that, make sure to tap that like button because it really helps us out here on the channel. Now let's get into today's story, shall we? A 45-year-old man from Washington State named Michael Knapinski recently was rescued from Mount Rainier National Park after going missing during his mountain hike. Michael was hiking with a friend when he ended up getting lost and then completely blinded by a snowstorm. He then was stranded in freezing temperatures, but that may have been what actually saved him. His brain had shut down and his heart had stopped when emergency services discovered his body. Doctors told the Seattle Times that Michael actually died in the emergency room following his rescue, but thanks to an incredible combination of science and quick wit, they were able to keep his body going long enough for him to regain consciousness. The scary thing was that this process took 2 days. Dr. Janelle Badulak was one of the first people that began treating him, but he soon went into cardiac arrest. She told the Seattle Times, "He died while he was in the ER, which gave us the unique opportunity to try and save his life by basically bypassing his heart and lungs, which is the most advanced form of artificial life support that we have in the world." Michael, however, would remain deceased for 45 minutes while the team of doctors repeatedly administered CPR and hooked him up to an ECMO machine. That process essentially pumps blood outside of the body to the heart and lung machine that removes any carbon dioxide and sends oxygen-filled blood back into the body. Once the medical team was able to restart his heart, they spent the entire evening by his side to make sure that he was able to stabilize. And as I mentioned earlier, 2 days later he finally opened his eyes. A trauma nurse in the Harborview's intensive care unit was the first to greet him when he woke up and said that it will forever be one of the highlights of her career. It's not too often that you get to greet someone that just returned to the land of the living. Of course, the first thing that he wanted to do was call his family, and the nurse told the news outlet he was crying and they were crying, and I'm fairly sure I cried a little bit. It was just really special to see someone that we had worked so hard on from start to finish to then wake up that dramatically and that impressively. The nurse also added that this miraculous event reminded her of why she does this. Now, it wasn't all sunshine and roses from here on out. Michael's kidneys still were not functioning properly, his heart was struggling to circulate blood, and his skin was actually burned from the frostbite. But the hospital workers were still optimistic about his continued recovery. Dr. Saman Arbabi, who is the medical director of the Harborview Surgical Intensive Care Unit, told the press, "He came back from the dead. Maybe not medically quite correct, but his heart wasn't beating for more than 45 minutes. It's amazing." Michael was originally reported missing after he failed to show up at the parking lot where he had arrived with his fellow hiker. Rescue teams even initially had to call off their search due to inclement weather. Eventually, a helicopter team was able to locate him in the Nisqually River drainage the following day. Michael told media outlets that he still isn't sure what exactly happened. He believes that he got lost and then fell, but the conditions were so terrible that he just couldn't see anything. Now that he has a second chance at life though, Michael says that he plans on dedicating his time to giving back, and he will continue to volunteer with the Salvation Army Food Bank in Seattle, as well as building homes for foster children through Overlake Christian Church in Redmond. He also thanked the Harborview staff for not giving up on him, adding, "They did one heck of a job at keeping me alive, and I've got a million people to thank." With that though, let's check out some of your comments from the video titled "Teen Who Sold Kidney for iPhone Now Bedridden for Life." Ashley Tate says, "This is probably more common than we realize." It definitely is. I mean, we talked about this story like 2 years ago, and here it is coming back again. Miss Koza YT says, "Man, next thing we'll hear is man sold his soul for a car." That's probably happening currently right now too. Olivia Garrett says, "I never thought I would have to talk to my kids about the importance of their organs. I guess I'll add that to the list." Yeah, you should probably add "don't sell your organs for an iPhone" to the list of things you need to teach your kid. Stargirl says, "He was in so much poverty he was willing to sell his kidneys. This is actually so sad. Don't let materialism take over you. No matter where you come from or who you are, there's so much more in this life. Poor baby." Poor indeed. Like, if you're thinking of giving up a part of you for an external piece like you just said with the materialism, you need to rethink your, I don't know, outlook on life. It's not all about having the new iPhone. Go for a hike. Actually, don't go for a hike. Ashley D says, "Not gonna lie, I thought IO was gonna flop after Charlotte left, but you guys have really flourished into your own people, and I really like the way IO is going now. I'm glad I'm flourishing into my own person." But I appreciate the compliments, and I appreciate all of you for watching today's video. But that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. I've been your host, Johnny Rogers, and until next time, stay classy.